Great day, great day, great day, beautiful beings. I am just live because I have not been live in a while, and I figured, hey, why not? How are my peoples doing over here on Facebook? Page one. How are my people on Facebook page one? Tell me how you're doing. I'll put a 1, put a 2, put a whatever in the chat. Look, however, however they do it. Put a yes, yes, yes in the chat. Put a yes, yes, yes. Okay. So if you don't know, then this page right here belongs to moi. Okay. You know, you might not be by many names, honestly. Okay, it might be Tamika, Ashima, Joy, Empress Joy. There are many names that you might know, and Coach Joy. Okay, there are likely many names that you know me as on this page, and it is still I. And I'm excited. I'm excited about all great things to come, and I just wanted to come and share some of that energy. I am still in Tulum, Mexico, where I have been for over a year, just because I decided that I was going to come and take a birthday trip for a month out in Mexico. Last year, right? 2024, August of 2024 was when I made that decision. And when I started to look for places that I would spend a month for my birthday, September 2nd. And it's funny because I walked up the other day and Papa Was a Rolling Stone played in the pizza place right behind me. And I feel like that's what me and my ancestor, my daddy, have as a running joke, because the 3rd of September is the day I'll always remember, because that was the day that my daddy died, okay? Of course, I knew about him and all that good stuff, but it's just that line that is like, okay, daddy, I hear you. That's funny. That can be your song. So, oh man, there has been so much that has happened over this year. I almost want to can I add my other page in here? Let me see if I can add my other page in here. But you know what? At the end of the day, I can't go over on that page and accept this page, so I don't even know that that's gonna work, okay? So, ultimately I came today to share this message because I find this message to be so vital. As you may or may not know, myself, I have been not just a dominatrix, but a hypno-dominatrix. So clearly I just love crazy shit, right? Like, I love hypnosis. I've loved since I was in 1st grade. And I was told that you could only control, what the hell she told me? 10% of our brain, 10 to 12% of our brain. That the rest we couldn't deal with. We couldn't do anything about. And me asking her, I was that child in 1st grade who said, well, what do we do about the rest of it? And my teacher told me, I won't mention her name, although I do know it. Right? I said, well, what do we do with that other 88 to 90% of our brain if we can only control 10 to 12%? And she told me, oh no, don't worry about that. You can't do anything about that. From that moment in 1st grade, I decided that that was BS. I did not like being told that I could not control the heavier, larger percent of my brain. So yeah, that did do something for me. And so I didn't realize that till much, much later on when I got into hypnosis. And it was funny enough, after I got my MBA in design and marketing, right, that I was like, you know what, I don't want to go into corporate, which is funny enough because now, all these years later, I'm going back into corporate, right? But at that time, I knew that I did not want to be in corporate, right? First of all, because I don't do very good with rules, I don't do very good with schedules, I don't do very good with you telling me when I could do this and that and whatever, right? And those who I love and who know me, they know me and they know that, right? I'm such a sweetheart. I'm such a sweetheart. But you throw a couple rules on that and tell me what I can and can't do, and that changes. That changes a little bit. So, funny enough, I just realized that I wanted different than a lot of people did. And that I was on a path that I can't say that a lot of people weren't on, but that I honestly I had a different type of energy than a lot of people did, right? A lot of people were just okay with just saying, all right, that's what the rules are. I'm just going to follow it. I'm just going to do it. Like, I didn't really feel like that. And even when I fell into those areas, right, as far as going to college, getting my degree, then getting my master's, it was like, for me, that was so that, first of all, I could make my parents proud, because I wanted to make my parents proud, right? That was me following along the path of what just seemed right? The path that was laid out before me. And that wasn't what I wanted. And unlike what I'm noticing with most people, we'll just go down that path. We'll just continue down that path. We will just continue doing, being, saying, feeling however anybody else decides for us to feel. And I was not ever 100% cool with that. That's why I am currently 41 years old. Let's put it out there, right? 41 years old, no children, never been married, okay? And it doesn't mean that a bunch of people didn't propose to me. That doesn't mean that a bunch of people didn't try to have me have their children, okay? Some of which is baby trap. We'll talk about that on another conversation. But ultimately, even for me, right, it was like, I will have children when I get married. I'll have children once I'm in that relationship, get married, be in that situation, be in that relationship for at least a year or two, right? I was like, well, let's give some time to the marriage first. And then recognizing that a lot of times when people propose to me, I recognize that, you know what, you wasn't even that serious in this relationship. You didn't even, you ain't even getting this relationship thinking about long term, because ultimately, would that be a good father for your children? Would that be somebody who you would want to be with long term? Is that somebody that you truly respect their decision making? And when I really got real, when we started to talk about marriage, I realized that I was tripping. Right? I was in a relationship that really was not meant for the long haul. It was meant for then, right? But it wasn't meant to be one that I was supposed to bring children and that I was supposed to be committed to long term. So back to the idea, because this has all happened in the time. Back to the idea, after I got my master's degree, I decided, you know what? I want to start a business. I do not want to go into corporate, right? Not as an employee. I want to be a business owner. So then I decided, you know what? I will be, after a Google search, right? Google was very new then, right? I'm into AI. I'm into teaching and consulting around AI now, funny enough. But back then was when Google was very new. So there were still filled with forums and different things that you could learn from. And so I found a forum that talked about hypnodominatrix. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. And I realized that was what I was looking for. That was the energy that I was in. And so I went forward with it. I learned, I paid, I moved forward. Look, I was in the programs, I was in the consults, I was in all of it, okay? Not just with dominatrix, but also with hypnosis. Because back to first grade, when she told me that I could not control almost 90% of my brain, I knew that was BS. And I knew that there was another way around that. So when I learned about hypnosis, and it taught me so much about how programs were being installed from when I was, before I could even have a memory, right? When I was a super tiny little sponge, baby me, right? That there was so much that was going on in my brain that I had no control over, but that I was reacting to. That yes, I had to make a difference. Yes, right? I had to change how I was feeling. I had to change what I was thinking, because those thoughts created what I was feeling, right? And that allowed me to do so much more than I would have allowed myself to do if not. So in the journey between going and getting that master's degree, to becoming a hypnotist and dominatrix, to randomly deciding that I wanted to travel and running away with the circus, to relationships and different businesses that I was able to grow, right? To especially my Hypnodom business, to now past 40, getting to a space where I literally pretty much took my 40th year off to move to Mexico. Okay, so this is not a background, right? This is real life. I know so many people have fake backgrounds right now. Sometimes I do too, right? That we don't recognize what's real and what's not sometimes. Sorrow is all over. I see some of y'all reacting to the Sora videos and y'all like, oh my God, I can't. Baby, it's AI, okay? And we're going to have more and more of that. I'm going to need you to get in touch with that. But either way, going on this journey and helping so many people, right, for over a decade, nearly 15 years, as a dominatrix and hypnotist, recognizing that so many people in all levels, right, all income brackets, who were still afraid to fully be themselves, still afraid that someone would judge them, still afraid to make a mistake, still afraid to move outside and be the wholeness of who they are, is a lot. Oh, I learned so much from that. So the past year, moving into a space where I was helping and am helping women be the wholeness and the fullness of who you are, right? Mostly because I recognize that there's so much out there. Like, I built community because I recognize that there's so much out there that is going to push you to be what everyone else wants you to be. There's so much out there that is going to try to make decisions for you, right? There's so much out there that is going to try to make you feel guilt, shame, and fear for being exactly what you were put on this earth to be, and being, as you may know, of my Enlightened Dominatrix brand, the Enlightened Dominatrix who recognizes and will encourage you to recognize that the fullness of you is really all there is, right? There is an unlimited full being that you may call God, you may call universe, you may call many things, who spirit is inside of you and who is here to have an experience, to have expansion, who is creating obstacles and challenges for you to be able to grow and to be in the fullness of who you are, so that you can reach as many levels as you would like to while you are on this earth for the minimal time. The minimal time that you are on this earth. There is so much and so many options that you can take. And at the end of the day, what is most important is that you recognize who you are, that you remember who you were before you were programmed, and that you decide what is it that you want most of this life. The same thing that I'm taking into corporate, right? First, it starts with you deciding. Always starts with a decision. Because this world will give you many, many things. Many. We're going to move a little bit. Right? It will give you many, many, many things. We're gonna turn on the light. For you to decide if you want to be, decide how you want to feel, decide what's best for you, decide, okay, how it is that you want to live this short life that you're here with, right? And ultimately we can live, because this social media, ooh, I went through social media today and I was like, oh my God, I'm not even sure how some people are making it through this social media thing right now. Because everything in it is telling you who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to feel, and all of this nonsense by these people who don't even feel it themselves. These people who haven't made a move. These people look, I am not going to speak down on anyone's situation, but these people are not, right? From what you can tell, they are not what it is that you're looking for to be in your life, right? Are these people showing you the life that you want to live while they're sitting online spreading misery? Not for me. Maybe for you. And that's cool. Look, one thing, okay, that made me such a great dominatrix for so long is that I don't judge, right? I don't judge, okay? That's why people were able to come to me as their dominatrix, because they needed somebody who was judgment free, okay? So that's first and foremost. But all these people are telling you who it is that you're supposed to be, and at the end of the day, they're not even people who you would want to model your life after, right? Right? This is real life, of course, right? No filter, no none of that. Look, what you see, what you hear, that's cars behind me. That's my balcony. That's the street. That's all that. This ain't no filter. Yes, I decided that I wanted to move to Mexico. For me, that was just a month, right? That's turned into, look, a year, over a year, because that was what I wanted for my life. And all I want to do is to help inspire, encourage people to have what it is that you want in your life, to make easier ways to have that in your life. To know that if it's something that you decide that you want and you're doing the work, that you're going to have that. I don't care what nobody else say. I don't care what none of these people with all these filters and all this whatever else these podcasts where they mad at they mama, they daddy, whoever else, and they taking it out on everybody in their life, and they're going to be miserable. How long are you going to let people who are miserable tell you what you need to do in your life? I'm not sure. Doesn't have nothing to do with me. That is absolutely up to you. So while social media is filled with miserable people who are trying to tell you what's best in your life, I just encourage you to make a decision. Just as I am moving into with all of my corporate clients, what is it that you are trying to achieve? What is it that you want, so that I can help you create a solution, right? For years and years and years, that's what I did as a dominatrix and a hypnotist. That's what I've done as a coach for women. That's what I will continue to do until the day that I leave this planet. And then my energy will still probably be here to help others far after I'm gone. Boom. What is it you want? What is it that feels right to you? Block out the noise. Block out what everybody else is saying. Block out the social media, and God forbid you get off that sucker for a little bit. What is it you want? What is it when you move past the thoughts, the feedback that is running over and over of the things that you learned when you were 5 and 6 years old, as most adults are still walking around with children. Their inner child is still walking around ruling their lives because they don't understand that, and it sounds shameful, and They fear moving past that, so they won't. But you have an opportunity to do that. Because the Almighty that lives inside of you, who came here to expand and experience this absolutely incredible opportunity for life, says, what is it that you want? And when it is that you focus on what it is that you want, then you will continue to get it. I am not a law of attraction. I should be. I'm not a law of attraction guru. I'm not a manifestation guru. But my life has shown that. Right? From whatever, right? I have been the embodiment. And even in that, moving through my own fear, moving through my own hesitation, I have still been able to be an embodiment of that, which I am so grateful for, so that I can inspire someone else and show you that whatever it is that you want, you can absolutely have, baby. You can absolutely have. And I don't care what the program told you. I don't care what it told you need to be, how you need to talk, how you need to look, who you need to be with, that you need to have this, you need to have that. It does not matter, because ultimately everything that you need is inside of you, because everything that's inside of you is everything. Come on. And always know that when I'm talking to you, I am talking to me, because you are just a reflection of me in a different awareness. So I came on here not only to give you encouragement, not only to tell you that you is the goddamn bomb, okay, and that you can literally change your life right this moment in just deciding that you want something different than you are used to. And the hard work that you put into staying the same is the same hard work that you can put into doing something different, being something different. I am ultimately grateful to be in this experience. I am grateful to expand through this life. I am grateful to know that if there was a chance that I could fall, that I would absolutely get back up multiplied. Because that was the purpose of the fall. That was the purpose. Everything that you are going through right now is the purpose. It is for you to be greater, to be better, to be even more, and to be what it is that you asked for. That was kinda what I came here to do. It was also kinda because I ain't been live here in a minute, so greetings. But also to just remind you, I don't give a fuck what nobody's talking about. Give a fuck what nobody telling you to do. Don't give a fuck how nobody's telling you to be. Give a fuck what nobody's telling you about anything. Half them people are fake as hell. Half them people are, what do we call it? A flexing, as the children call it. And I'm an auntie now. Look, I'm 41, baby. 41 chapters to this story. As an auntie, I can tell you the most important thing is how you feel about you, what you give to you, the greatness that you decide to be, the decisions that you make right now, and the energy you put into that. And knowing that if you ever decide that there is a different decision that you choose to make, that is okay. And never let no sucker tell you different. Okay. And that's not a Caribbean accent, though it might be. It's not. I'm from Jersey. Okay. It's not real, though. I hear it's in my veins, it's in my blood. Okay, I have Haitian ancestors, but at the same time, look, I'm trying to come on back. Whatever it is that you decide, whatever it is that you want to do, if you let them people stop you, knowing them people ain't happy and them people ain't miserable, then just know that you can pull up a chair and sit beside them. You ever heard that is lonely at the top? I have. And it's because most people are at the bottom in competition, competing with one another, trying to be better than one another, when ultimately we were put on this earth to be the greatest expression, the greatest version of you, whatever that looks like. Doesn't matter how many turns you take, doesn't matter if you're single, doesn't matter if you're married, none of that matters. What matters is that you continue to be on the journey to be the greatest version of yourself. That is the only thing that matters while you're here on this planet Earth. Rest in peace to D'Angelo. I put a message out 2 days ago about if this was your last day, and the next day he was gone. Right? Love D'Angelo. Okay? Especially, see, for me, y'all talking about brown sugar. I'm talking about shit damn motherfucker. That was my song. Put something in the chat if shit damn motherfucker was your song way before you were supposed to be cursing. Okay? I don't know. What was that? 10, 11? I don't even know. I ain't into the numbers. But shit damn the motherfucker was my song. Ultimately, stop trying to live your life for other people's approval. They don't even approve of themselves. Doesn't matter the money, doesn't matter the accolades, doesn't matter the followers. If someone doesn't feel good within themselves, they don't feel good with any of that. I just want you to remember the wholeness of who you are. That's it. And as long as you do, then you will continue to be in the energy of doing great, being great, feeling great. In the energy, right? You know, I teach women how to unleash their dominatrix energy. I teach women how to release that good girl. I do all of that. Excuse me, nice girl, because nice means ignorant, stupid, foolish, right? So I help women release that. But at the same time, the most important thing is, how do you want to live this life? Do you want to live it by what is good for others? Or do you want to live it in the ultimate expression of the God that is living inside of you, who came here to have an expansive experience on earth? You decide. Not me. But I send you love. Hopefully we're choosing the latter.